Gabriel Kidd to take a break from wrestling. Cara Noir is to face Vincent Hisenburg in the first round of the WXW 16 Carat Tournament, as all first round matches have been announced. ROH World Champion Jonathan Gresham will face Progress World Champion Cara Noir in a title versus title match at Chapter 130. Dodge, dip, duck, dive, dodge. Trish Adora is set to make her debut as Hollidead returns to Progress, and the Tag Team Championships will also be on the line. Swerve The Realist is the first competitor announced for Progress's Super Strong Style 16. Drake Maverick has re-signed with the WWE as producer. Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. have been announced for the New Japan Cup. Rev Pro UK have announced Epic Encounter 2022, and Simon Miller is set to make his US wrestling debut. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tea and Tice, a Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on Bodyslam.net, brought to you by Powered4 TV. I am your host, the Great British Attacker, Mr. Andrew Moore, Andy to most, joined as always by the co-host, Big Daddy Dan, Mr. Daniel Allen, just Dan for short. How are we doing, Dan?
We are good. We are tired, but we are good. We've had a fantastic week. I got to go to a brilliant show that I'll tell you all about in a few minutes. And yeah, generally it's been a good week of wrestling for me. I've had some good stuff to watch on telly. I had some good stuff to watch on Powered4 TV. I've just had a very positive, upbeat week.
Indeed, because you, of course, were at Phenomenal Elite Wrestling, PEW, in Stratford upon Avon.
I was indeed.
Yep, and they had a fantastic debut show by all accounts. Looking over the social media, a lot of happy fans is what I've seen across the board. Of course, we do have reviews for the latest stuff on Powered4 TV. That's TNT Ignition, Sky's the Limit, and Fight Nation Wrestling's Rise of the Kingdom, which Daniel Allen was there live in person. We'll be reviewing the latest NXT UK, the ICW Fight Club, Rev Pro UK's live in Southampton 16, WXW Germany's Road to 16. Carat, it's a very 16 carat strong show, so this will be the 16 carat show. We've of course got the top picks for the week, loads of Great British Wrestling again across the week, next week, further roundup, and of course, as always, some quick European news. It is a long show, it is a big show, but bear with us and we will try to get through in due course. So Daniel, tell us about PEW.
Phenomenal Elite Wrestling was exactly that. It was phenomenal. We started off, this was held at Stratford upon Avon. It was their first show. We did do a preview video about it, which you can still catch up with Lawrence Prestige. And it started off with the general manager, Jessie, coming out with a chosen tag team. She had chosen her tag team, who she felt was going to be the new face of Phenomenal Elite Wrestling, which was the Rebellion.
Good tag team.
Very good tag team.
Very good.
However, out came Lawrence Prestige, the Prestige, because he said this isn't the right way to start things off. You don't give away a championship. I'll fight for a championship, and I will fight your tag team champions, and I will take anybody from the crowd. I'll take anybody from around us. I'll even take the sound guy, which led the crowd to chant sound guy, who was chosen to be his tag team partner, and conveniently enough, did have his ring gear on underneath his jeans. Out came the sound guy, and he and the Prestige beat the Rebellion, and became the first ever PEW champions. Now, originally, the first match was meant to be Martin Kirby versus Warren Banks, but unfortunately, Warren Banks was one of a couple of wrestlers that weren't able to attend. So he will come on later. It does indeed. Our second match, however, was as planned, and it was a women's handicap match. And it was Laurie, who I knew very little about, but oh my God, she is now one of my favorite female wrestlers ever. She was fantastic. Versus Mia Cortez and Alfie. Mia Cortez has got a brilliant gimmick. She has a dragon mask. She is the goddess of dragons, and her mask speaks to her, but she speaks to it. And Alfie has got a great gimmick as well.
I've of course got to speak to Mia Cortez after the show, and yes, I did see her speaking to her dragon.
She did speak to her dragon. It was very, very good. It was interesting interviewing both of them. Alfie turned on Mia Cortez in the match and ended up losing. Laurie was so powerful, so great, fantastic technique, really good wrestler, and she won after beating Mia Cortez. Match 3, Martin Kirby against Joe Lando. Just Joe Lando stepped out from the four-way match and took on Martin Kirby one-on-one. And this was a really good technical match. Because of the very low ceiling in the arena, Joe wasn't able to pull out a lot of his high-flying moves. This was much more technical, which was a really good thing to show that Joe can do so much. Martin Kirby, as we know, absolutely fantastic wrestler. Really enjoyed the family show. He was getting real boos, real heat, and he was picking on the kids. It was great. They did a very funny roll-up exchange for the 2 count, the 2 count, the 2 count, approximately 20 times before, in the end, Lando won. Our next match was Big Jim Diehard versus Axel Carter. And this was another match to choose who would go through for the men's belt. Big Jim Diehard won with a massive sit-out powerbomb. We then had our fatal four-way. This was between Jason Joshua, Big Daddy Unicorn, Danny Black, and because Just Joe had stepped out, Chase Alexander stepped in. First time seeing him. And somebody who I had known very little about.
Mr. You know now, though, don't you?
I know now. I know his name.
You got to dress him down. You deserve that dressing down. You didn't do your research.
I deserved my dressing down. I got suitably abused in an interview afterwards. I got suitably abused during the match. Mr. Hood came over to me and told me to pay attention to who he was.
H. Hood.
The champion, the internet champion, because he won this match.
Hood.
H. Hood.
Yeah.
He eliminated Jason Joshua. He eliminated Chase Alexander. And then he eliminated Danny Black. He eliminated everyone. But the way he eliminated Danny Black was about to win. But out came Corey Mcrae and distracted Danny Black, and H. Hood rolled him up. So this will be leading, hopefully, to Corey Mcrae versus Danny Black in the future, which would be a great match.
Big fan of Mr. Mcrae, Corey Mcrae, the silverback.
Yeah, he's a fantastic wrestler. Sheikh El Sham was next against Dexter. Good match. Dexter, I hadn't seen wrestle much before. Really good. Great technical match between the two of them. Probably the biggest exchange of holds and moves throughout the whole show. Sheik is a big guy.
He is.
He is. And he was brilliant on the microphone. He got a lot of heat. We then had and he lost to Dexter. Dexter beat him, and it was a good match. We then had our massive Rumble match, and that featured Riley Nova, who I didn't know much about either. That guy has got personality and charisma coming out of his backside. He was absolutely fantastic. Everybody loved him. He was against Chocolate Thunder, Jason Joshua, Coach Cardio, Wesker, Lance Rivera, Tyler Adams, Drake Winters, Laurie came out. The sound guy came out, as did Mr. Prestige, JD Knight, Lance Rivera, Martin Kirby, and Axel Carter. It was a good turnout. Laurie was in for a long time. She eliminated quite a few of the guys and hung in there really well. Chocolate Thunder, he is pure entertainment. He is wonderful. He has the best scream in wrestling ever. He sounds like a 10-year-old that stood on a drawing pin. He was absolutely hysterical. Really good. Wesker, big scary man, really great. And Martin Kirby was our eventual winner. So he won the golden ticket, which means that he can challenge the future champion at any time of his choosing. Our final match was the Women's Championship. Lucia Lee versus Laura Tevez versus Rio.
Sorry, Aurora, not Laura.
I said Aurora. I apologise if I...
Oh, it sounded like Laura.
No, I'm very aware it was Aurora Tevez. I paid a lot of attention to this match. It was really, really great. And I got very, very close up because I ended up helping out at the show a little bit. I ended up running the merchandise table for the wrestlers and looking after all of their gear and selling it for them. And Lucia Lee brought Aurora Tevez over and smashed her head down on the merch table, giving her a good look at her T-shirts. And then did the same with Rio. Rio and Lucia Lee tried to team up to begin with, but just couldn't work it. And in the end, Aurora Tevez got the victory over Lucia Lee, with Rio being knocked out of the ring. And Aurora Tevez is your first ever PEW Women's Champion. It was a fun show. It was a family show. It was a big show, 8 matches on the card. It was a big, big show and a really good collection of wrestlers there. And I look forward to the next show, which is on the 2nd of April, and it is going to be called Kings of Combat, and it will be in the same venue, Stratford-upon-Avon, and tickets go on sale on Monday, which I believe is when this show will be coming out.
Excellent. There we go. Sounds
all
like
in all, I would give it 3.5 sugars.
That's fantastic. I have to say, I saw a lot of families commenting about the show and how much fun that they had as taking their families over to there. So this sounds like a really great promotion to start going to check out. So if you're in the Stratford-upon-Avon, get yourself down there on the 2nd of April. And hopefully Danny Black, Corey Mcrae. What's going to be the male? So it was Just Joe Lando, Sheik Sharman, Jim Diehard.
No, just Joe Lando, Dexter, and Jim Diehard.
Yeah, sorry. So that's going to be a good triple threat for the championship.
Yeah,
go on, Lando. Really come on, Lando.
I'm looking forward to seeing Lando and Big Jim.
Yeah, it'll be interesting combinations with those two sides against speed. Okay, let's go on to our first big story of the past week, which is the fact that Gabriel Kidd will be taking time off from wrestling. This has been supported by the New Japan promotion. I believe he is already back in the UK, and it's a bit of a shame, but I think it's needed, given everything that he's been going through personally, given some of the things he said. He needs to, take himself away for a little while and look after himself. You know, we've got to remember this is a man who openly discussed on a recent program of New Japan when he actually returned about suicide, about mental health. And if you listen to some of the promo that he delivers in the Rev Pro UK show, delivering later, and he talks about this, and he talks about the fact that, you know, losing his girlfriend of the time who he was with, and I think it's very much needed for Gabriel Kidd. It's a shame because, as I say, he had some absolutely stellar, fantastic matches here in the UK. Some absolute bangers, one that I'm going to be talking about later. And I just think he needs to take time off and get himself right and come back strong as soon as he's ready.
I respect his decision and wish him the best.
Yes. Let's get on to the big stuff. WXW WXW 16 Carat Gold. It starts next week, 4th of March to the 6th of March. The show is actually going to be done semi-live, as in they're going to record up to the intermission. During the intermission, they'll be editing that first part, and then they'll put that out for release on the same day, and then they'll have, as the second part of the show is running, the people who can't go attend the show in person will be watching the first half as the second half is going. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. But yes, the first round.
Sounds like it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, that too. As I say, all first 8 matches have been announced. 16 competitors from around the world. Several different countries are being represented here. I think there are more Americans in this than most.
There's a good selection in there.
1, 2, 3, 4 Americans against 1, 2, 3. I know there's 4 Germans as well. 4 Germans, 4 Americans, 1 man from the UK, 2 from Japan, 2 from France, 1 from Hungary, and the other from Switzerland. So yeah, as I say, nice mix of international countries.
One of the matches that stands out for me that's been announced is Maggot versus Ac Romero.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that one. I like Maggot. I love what he's done with the Pretty Bastards. I think Ac Romero is he's just doing really well at the moment. All of his work has been fantastic. And I think for me, that is a standout one that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, the former Impact superstar. He took some time off for a little while, worked really hard to bring his weight down for his own health, which is fantastic. This is his first time he's wrestled outside of the US, so his first European tour. After this, he's going to be at TNT Extreme, where he'll be facing Dan Maloney. Yes, Maggot is a unique individual. Of course, the Pretty Bastards are no more, as he is now working with the witch bitch of wrestling, Baby Allison. So you've always got to watch out for her. That should be, as you say, a very interesting match against size, against a very devious component. My prediction for it was Ac Romero to advance. Of course, the big UK match for us over here in the UK, it is Cara Noir versus Vincent Hisenburg, the giant man from the north of Germany, standing at 6'6" and 308 pounds. He's a big fellow. Of course, Cara Noir is the Progress champion. So again, that should be a really good match. My prediction for that was Cara Noir is most likely to advance in that match. I'm assuming they're going to have Ac Romero eventually come against Robert Tisca, who will be taking on Abe Funimori, who I don't know much about, Japanese competitor, the current 0-1 World Junior Heavyweight Champion.
You can say you don't know much about them when you know you're not going to be meeting them face to face, can't you?
Yeah, of course. He competes for BJW in Japan. I think he has done appearances for DDT, and he is, of course, as I say, the 0-1 World Junior Heavyweight Champion. See, at least I knew that much. So, yeah, I may say I didn't know anything, but at least I can have some information. But, yeah, and he's going to be facing Coach Robert Dreisker, the current coach of the WWX Wrestling Academy, WXW. And he's been competing for since 2013, and he has never won the 16 Carat Tournament. You know, guys like Axel, Tisca have, Walter, Ilya Dragunov, even Teoman. But so far, this has been the one thing that Dreisker hasn't managed to win. So
you can find out about all of the matches coming up, including the former Only Lorcan and Biff Busick being involved, by going on to bodyslam.net and reading the fantastic article that was written by a very experienced journalist, a journalist who really knows and does his research, Mr. Andrew Moore.
Indeed. The other matches include Igil Blanc versus Peter Tihanyi. This is the one that I personally pick will be the one of the best opening round matches. Both of these guys are phenomenal young talents. Igil Blanc is being trained by Senza Volto. Peter Tihanyi, somebody I've talked about a lot recently, coming out of Hungary. Absolutely one of the best prospects in Europe. That's going to be an amazing match. Lufisto, the first ever female to be competing in the tournament, will be facing Dennis Cash Doolan. Expect a bit of comic relief in this match. Should be very interesting. Of course, Lufisto inducted into the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame recently. Shigehiro Irie versus Senza Volto. This is Senza Volto's first time competing in the tournament. This is Shigehiro Irie's second time competing in the tournament. Again, should be a really good match. Power versus speed. Biff Busick will be taking on Michael Knight. This should be really hard hitting. And Bobby Guns versus Jonathan Gresham. Could easily be one of the best matches of the year. Honestly, could have picked this as the final for for 16 Carat. This is Bobby Guns' first time entering. He is the longest reigning WXW champion, so he hasn't won it. And Jonathan Gresham actually competed in one. I think it was the first ever WX Carat Gold in 2013. He's not competed in one since, so this will be his first time doing so. Of course, the ROH World Champion currently. And yeah, you can see all of my predictions in my article available on bodyslam.net. Sticking with the ROH World Champion, of course, at Progress Wrestling Chapter 130, Dodge, Dip, Duck, Dive, Dodge. It will be a title versus title match as he faces Cara Noir, of course, the Progress World Champion. In now, one British journalist out there for the Daily Star actually called it the biggest match in UK wrestling history. I wouldn't go that far.
No, but it is pretty big.
It is very, very big. It is one of the biggest matches in recent British wrestling, but I probably put any time Will Ospreay defends the Rev Pro UK Championship in the UK right now as always being the bigger.
I also don't think that it will have more viewers than the FA Cup final, such as Big Daddy used to have back in the day.
Of course. Yeah, be a much better wrestling match.
Oh, yes.
Than that goddamn awful Big Daddy giant haystack in Wembley. Oh, yeah, almost killed British. Well, that is almost what killed British wrestling, really.
We will have to have a proper discussion on that at some point, and possibly even a watch along.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be a very, very interesting special. But yeah, it is definitely one of the biggest wrestling matches to happen in the UK in recent history. I mean, we are talking about the ROH World Champion, but you can't exactly say the ROH is the third, fourth, fifth most popular promotion in the United States anymore. It's not. You know, it lost its position. Of course, it's almost went defunct. Thankfully, it hasn't, and they will be coming back, but on a much more independent contractor basis. So they won't be offering out any long-term deals to people. But the rise of companies like GCW, Warrior Wrestling, of course, AEW, Impact's,
MLW.
MLW's all right. I used to like MLW, but I think they lost so much of their talent. Just kind of, but yeah, as you say, they have dropped down that pecking order. However, Jonathan Gresham is still one of the best wrestlers in the world. Cara Noir is still one of the best wrestlers in the world, and this will be a phenomenal match and something I really look forward to. Go on then, who do you think is going to win?
I don't think either of them are going to win. I think a third champion is going to interfere.
No, I think Jonathan Gresham's going to win.
Do you think this will be for a title, or do you think this is just title versus title?
This is title versus title. So whoever wins will end up being a double champion, which is why I'm leaning towards it being Jonathan Gresham. It also frees up the Progress World Championship belt for the 10th anniversary show. So Cara Noir can face Ilya in a non-title match while Warren Banks gets his title shot against Jonathan Gresham, and Banks will win.
That is a match that I would love to see, and I like your long-term booking there. We shall see what happens.
Yeah, it'd be very, very interesting. Two top independent US talents, Trish Adora, who will be making her debut for Progress, and Hollidead, who will be making her return to Progress at Chapter 130. They will be teaming up to face the team of Mercedes Blaze and Tonga.
You may be international superstars. You may think you know what to expect at Progress, but until you take on a team of Mercedes Blaze and Tonga, oh, you don't know anything. You are in trouble, ladies. You really are.
Indeed. Hollidead had a very good run back in the day in Progress. I think it was 2019. She had about 5 matches, came out on top of most of them. Lost to Tony Storm, but a couple of big wins over competitors like Candy Floss and Lara Austin. Trish Adora, I know she's big on the GCW for the Culture show. I haven't seen much of her work, but I definitely know she is a hot because Gary Ward, she's a sponsored craps athlete. And if Gary Ward is sponsoring her, she must be bloody good because he's got a very good eye for talent, does Gary Ward. So I'm going to trust Gary in this and think that Adora is going to be a bit of a thing, bit of a superstar. The tag team championships are going to be on the line. Smoking Aces will be defending their titles against the 0121.
Ooh, that'll be a fun match.
Yes, so they've demanded that they have talent and opposition, and so Progress have accepted their demand and have provided them the 0121, who haven't had very many tag team matches on Progress, on the new Progress side. I looked it up. I think they've only had 3 in total, 2 proper and then a 6-man tag. So
it's looking like a great card. There's a couple of other matches that I'm particularly excited about. The main one being my favourite 4, my Fab 4 youngsters, Joe Lando, Danny Black, Maverick Mayhew, and Callum Newman are going to be taking on a team of Malik and Lycos Jim featuring Warren Banks. So that's going to be a great match.
Yeah, that's just going to be absolutely nuts. I like that Banks is going to provide a bit of size in the match. Mind you, Callum Newman's not a small guy. Malik, so he'll be the one, I guess, to try and bat that. Of course, as you say before, apparently they had a fantastic match that got a standing ovation. They had a little moment in the ring afterwards, you know, as friends do. Danny Black was celebrating, and out came Malik, who attacked poor Danny Black while his back was turned, leading to backstage him going, "You get free friends if you can," and me, you know, bit of a, I've got friends, you get friends, let's all meet up in the schoolyard and rock it out.
Poor Danny Black, he keeps getting jumped from behind. He got jumped from behind at FNW by Big Jim Diehard. He got jumped from behind at PEW by Corey Mcrae, and now he's getting jumped from behind by Malik at Progress. He needs eyes in the back of his head, that boy.
He does. Max Stead will be making his Progress Wrestling debut. Max Stead against Gene Money. Well, technically he did make his debut at the last show, but this will be his official in-ring debut after he attacked Gene Money while his back was turned with a dropkick, of course.
Because he does have the best dropkick in all of England.
He does. What are the other matches?
We have Kanji making her return to singles competition against Rio. If you're going to make you come back, you find the biggest, scariest person in the yard and punch him in the face. Good luck, Kanji.
Yeah, so this is a meeting of the former #1 contender against the current #1 contender. So I think that's good matchmaking.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. All in all, it looks like it is going to be an absolutely brilliant show, and that is going to be at the Electric Ballroom. Yeah.
Oh, you got Northwest Strong versus Charles Crowley and Elijah. Thankfully, Chris Ridgway did not break his foot, and he is back in action. So he just missed the one show. So he'll be teaming with Luke Jacobs to face Charles Crowley and Elijah. Should be fantastic.
And just one short little bit of extra Progress news. Super Strong Style 16.
Yeah, Swerve The Realist is the first competitor to be announced for Super Strong Style 16, which is on between the 3rd to the 5th of June later this year. Gene Money did point out that is not how you spell Gene Money.
That was very kind of him.
Gene Money for Super Strong Style 16. But yeah, Swerve The Realist, you know, the Super Strong Style 16 has always attracted some of the biggest names in independent wrestling. Of course, he's not an independent wrestler anymore. He has signed with AEW, but of course, he's still available to make independent appearances because AEW are nice like that.
Yes, they do things properly.
Yeah, unlike the WWE, who sack a guy, rehire him, sack a guy, and rehire him again.
Yes, but at a slightly smaller position at each time. And by smaller, I'm not making a pun on the wrestler in question, because he has never let size hold him back. He is absolutely amazing in the ring. And I kind of really hope that this move means that we'll get a chance to see him in the ring in the future, because Drake Maverick has re-signed with WWE again, this time as a producer. He has got a backstage role. And I'm kind of gutted because I love watching him in the ring.
Yeah, it's one as well. And I honestly, I look at this Maverick and I think to myself, why do you keep going back?
I'm sure it's because he lives in the USA. He loves living in the USA, and he needs to have his job there. But if you're going to work for the biggest company, I get that as well. But please find some way to get in the ring, even if it's just like the occasional Rumble match. Just please don't give it all up.
Well, if he's taking the back row, I really can't see him. Hopefully, he'll be able to produce some great matches in the near future.
Oh, he'll definitely be able to produce great matches. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, but as you say, it is a it's a thing, isn't it?
Let's go with that.
Yeah. Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. They're both going to be part of New Japan Cup, which gets underway on the 2nd of March in Nippon Budokan. Stack lineup, lots of huge first round matches.
And some classic wrestlers in it as well. Some names that I'm really happy to see, such as Taka Michinoku.
Oh, Taka. Yeah,
and
Taka Michinoku. That Taka Michinoku.
Yep, and Dick Togo.
Yeah, Dick Togo too.
Yep. It's great. I mean, they're both brilliant wrestlers and well worth watching. And it's a bit sad, and you can tell that I'm not the biggest Japanese wrestling aficionado, that they're the two names that I've jumped out at, as opposed to someone like Tanahashi or Ricardo or Show Yo.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a real. There's a lot of legendary Japanese competitors, elder competitors, because Sema will be taking on Taka Michinoku. Because Sema has been on AEW and others. Honma is competing. Yuji Nagata, Mcrae, yeah. It's a big lineup, and it's a very strange lineup. Did I show you I sent you the picture of the brackets, didn't I?
You did. I was surprised to see some of the big names against each other in the first round. And as I say, my knowledge of New Japan is limited. But even I know, seeing Kota Ibushi and Great-O-Khan in a first round match, I would have thought is sort of like two names that you'd hold back, or Bushi and Will Ospreay.
Yeah. So, well, as you just mentioned, we're not going to go through it all because there is just bloody too many matches. It's just kind of ridiculous how many matches there are. I will try to track it as best as I can throughout the cup to keep you updated on both Will Ospreay's and Zack Sabre Jr.'s progress. Zack Sabre Jr. is facing one of the new young lions. I'm going to guess it's Ryohei Oira?
Zack Sabre Jr.
Oiwa.
Yeah, him.
Oiwa. Yeah, Zack Sabre. He's a new young lion. It's an easy win for Zack Sabre Jr. He's going to be going through. Will Ospreay is facing Bushi. Bushi is the junior heavyweight for the LIJ faction. The Los Ingobernables de Japón, and it's pretty much a gimme. Will Ospreay will go on, and then they're facing, both of them will then meet somebody who's on a bye, because there are a few people that for some reason just have buys in this tournament. So if Will Ospreay goes through Bushi, he'll be facing El Phantasmo. And if Zack Sabre Jr. Goes through, he will face Doki. If Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. do continue to advance together, they would meet each other in the quarterfinals, I think.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting. As I say, I'll track it all. I've got my NJPW World, great service. It's only like £7. It's brilliant. Anyway, up next is Rev Pro UK, sticking with Will Ospreay. He will be part of their Epic Encounter 2022, which will be at their next York Hall show on May the 22nd. Will Ospreay is the only person on the poster, and he certainly takes center stage on it.
He is sitting on a throne, looking very, very Triple H-esque.
Yes, very, very Kingpin, because he is the Commonwealth Kingpin now, don't forget, no longer the aerial assassin. But yeah, it should be another great show. York Hall, always, Rev Pro UK always deliver on a York Hall show. Have you managed to have a chance to go back and watch that last one, the high stakes?
No.
You really, really have to. Best show I've seen in forever. Simon Miller will be making his American debut. Yes, the WCPW guy, the guy that does the ups and downs for everything and delivers you some weekly news. He is a wrestler in the UK as well, and he's a very good
as well
wrestler.
as being the face of Progress as well.
Currently, yes, the host of Progress Wrestling, but he will be making his American debut off to the United States, where he's going to be competing for Insane Hardcore Wrestling, which is in Fort Worth, Texas, on the 31st of March. He is taking on a guy by the name of Sam Beale.
WrestleMania weekend, isn't it?
Yes, WrestleMania weekend. So Simon Miller's wrestling at WrestleMania.
You know what? Bearing in mind that we have Stone Cold coming back and allegedly Vince McMahon wrestling, I think Simon Miller for WrestleMania, it's a possibility.
It could happen. It could happen. You never know. This is the world of wrestling, after all.
God help us.
Okay, let's get on to some reviews. We got a lot of shows to reviews, including WXW Germany's Road to 16 Carat. I'll tell you how Peter Tahanye and Dennis Cash Dawlin made it. But first, we'll talk about what you could have watched on Powered 4 TV. And that, of course, was TNT Ignition Sky's the Limit. Excellent show. Chase Alexander defeated Brian Anderson in a very good 10-minute match. HT Drake then defeated Joe Kessler, again, in a very good 10-minute match. Joe Kessler was very, very impressive in that outing, in fact, as was Brian Anderson, despite their losses. Shreddy defeated the biggest wrestler ever, Franco Varga, who we'll give a little bit of hint in a little while. We'll be talking about Franco Varga just a little bit more a little bit later in the show. He had an excellent big man match against Shreddy. Two big powerhouses really went at each other. Great match. RPD then defeated Sonna Dursin, which was a 3-round boxing match, but Sonna Dursin speared RPD through the ropes halfway through the 3rd round. Dastardly bug. Took off his gloves and then took advantage of RPD and pile drove him into the bar. Very, very dastardly tactics. MVK Valcabius defeated Tate Mayfair. Tate Mayfair making his debut. MVK is big. He's a big lad. You've seen Tate Mayfair. He's fairly big. Yeah. Not compared to MVK. MVK is a big lad. He's a excellent competitor, very, very athletic. Keep an eye on MVK. Very, very good match. Tate Mayfair, because of course, Tateness is greatness. Put on an excellent display. Great wrestling. Tom Farewell defeated Jimmy Jackson. Very good match. Tom Farewell is a 19-year-old superstar in the making. Jimmy Jackson is flamboyant. He is fun. He's high energy, very athletic, former gymnastic, amazing balance. Gia Adams then defeated Hannah Taylor and Ivy in a triple threat. This was also just very good match. And Cameron Solis defeated after the match, Ivy complained and said it wasn't fair. And so now they're going to have Gia Adams versus Ivy. And Cameron Solis defeated JJ Webb. JJ Webb tried to cheat his way to victory using a chain They took a bit from the AEW playbook here, where the referee found the chain after counting the pin and decided to restart the match, and Cameron Solos got the advantage. But then Bailey and Webb attacked him afterwards, but Roughneck came to his aid, and that was fantastic. Really good.
Couple of Roughneck back.
Yeah, a couple of legends in Bailey and Roughneck. You've got the new generation, the old generation. Of course, this was a big build up onto the next show, Ignite the Fire. And we were very lucky last week. We got to speak to RPD last week. It's available on our Bodyslam YouTube as well as our Spotify and everything else. And he spoke to us about what happened between him and Sonny Durson. He had some words for Sonny Durson, and he provided us more details into each of the upcoming matchups for Ignite the Fire, and we'll be telling you a little bit more about them later.
Just because RPD was respectful doesn't mean that he's going to be gentle.
Indeed. Great chatting with RPD. Ignite the Fire looks to be excellent. We'll be talking about it in just a little while. Sky's the limit was great show. I give it 3.5 sugars for that.
Nice.
Also available on Powered 4 TV is a show that Big Daddy Dan was at, and in fact, while I was watching it, I did see the handsome bearded fellow watching and chanting along with some really, really good matches. Maggot defeated Ashley Dunn. I was so impressed with Ashley Dunn in this match. He is such a great talent, very underrated. Needs to be out there a little bit more, in my opinion. Laura Di Matteo defeated Rhea O'Reilly. Very good women's match. Dead Sad Boys defeated D87. I thought this was a good tag team match.
There was a little bit of interference as well, wasn't there?
There was a little bit of interference. Warren Banks tried to take Jay Joshua of the Dead Sad Boys out of it. And that left Billy Hayes to be double teamed by Roy Johnson and Alexander Roth, the 8-7.
Yeah, the 8-7 were brilliant in this. Hayes and Joshua are massively over with the crowd, but the 8-7, they won some respect from the crowd during this match.
I like the fact that they don't do overly amount of tag maneuvers, but they work very well as a tag team in the way that they isolated and use quick tags. Something is quite underrated in tag team wrestling these days, that type of tag team wrestling. Next up was Luke Jacobs versus Axel Tisca. This was excellent. Can't complain about this. This was two absolute phenomenal talents. Superb. Oh, I do love when you did the PW interview. That is my overuse of the word phenomenal. It helped create the name PW.
It may have been mentioned without doubt. Seriously though, can I just take a second to mention this match, the Axel Tisca versus Luke Jacobs match? Okay. This match had everything. It was hard hitting. It was technical. The quality of Luke Jacobs' matches at the moment is second to none in the UK. He is coming up very swiftly on the heels of Chris Ridgway as to be the #1 wrestler in the UK. And I think that he and Axel Tisca had a complete barn burner of a match here. It was well worth watching and well worth your subscription to Powerful TV.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. However, I thought the Mark Haskins and the Martin Kirby match was the best match of the night. I thought these two were absolutely incredible. Two of the best the UK has ever produced at their highest peaks of their abilities, and it showed. This match was just superb. I absolutely loved this match. I could not praise Mark Haskins and Martin Kirby enough.
Could you hear the dueling chants?
I could, and that certainly added to the match, certainly. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, for me, out of the two matches, yes, I think the Haskins and Kirby for me was the match of the night. But I can definitely see why you would have thought Luke Jacobs and thing. It'd be like a 0.1, if you know what I mean. It'd be like 4 and a 4.1.
And then you had another amazing match.
But yeah, the Fatal 4-Way. Nico Angelo picking up the wins over Nino Bryan, Big Guns Joe, and Gene Money. Great. Big Guns Joe, Gene Money. Bit too much silly. Nico Angelo picked up a great win here, and he'll be facing Mad Kurt for the thing. Well, something that you wouldn't have got was Mad Kurt on commentary.
How was that? Yeah,
absolutely, just mad Kurtness. And then, of course, was the main event: Danny Black versus Warren Banks. And if what we were talking about, it would be like a point behind the Jacobs and Tisca match, because it was again just absolutely fantastic. I would give this show easily 4 sugars. It was just really, really, really great. And if you want to go see it, how do they go see it, Dan?
They go on to Powered 4 TV and they sign up using our promo code TEAPOD, TEAPOD, and that will get them 30 days free. You get a month of free British wrestling featuring TNT Ignition, featuring TNT Extreme, featuring FNW, featuring IWE.
Yes, featuring Catch Pro, featuring Wrestle Island, featuring Wrestling in Hinckley, featuring Triumph Pro Wrestling, featuring RCWA, and just so many more. The American promotion, of course, Extreme Wrestling Championship, or
XXW, I believe it is.
Yeah.
There's also some brilliant interviews on there, some older interviews with the likes of Bret Hart, The Sheik. There's some great old interviews to watch on there.
And of course, you've got this back catalogue of FNW/IPW shows that have just been added on there right now, including the first ever from when FNW became IPW. People like Mark Haskins and Kip Sabian, Sammy Smooth, Sam Stoker, and you've got the first first 6 shows from that period, which was just absolutely phenomenal. So many great talents just before they all go off to NXT UK. Really, really worth checking out. And as Dad said, 30 days, 100% free if you sign up with the promo code TEAPOD, TEAPOD. It is $7.99 a month afterwards, and it helps support British wrestling, and using our promotional codes helps support us as well, so we can bring you as many reviews as we possibly can.
And of course, we have our own channel on Powered 4 TV as well, so wherever you're listening to us, you can also listen to us there.
Indeed. Go get yourself signed up to Powered 4 TV. Anyway, NXT UK, Dan.
We started off with a championship video showing what our tag team match later in the evening is going to be, how it came to be, and who's going to be in it. So, yeah, that was nice. We then had Amel versus Bratty Brookside. Much better wrestling from Zaya Brookside, showing the wrestling that she can do and hasn't been able to do for ages. She can be a wonderful heel. She can really lay it in when she needs to. And this is what her character really needed.
Really did. I completely lost interest in what Brookside was doing on the thing, and that whole thing with Nina Samuels, that was just damn awful.
Yeah.
But absolutely loving Bratty Brookside. I think she's phenomenal. My missus doesn't like it though.
That means that she's doing her job properly.
Yes.
In the end, Amel hit the face wash kick in the corner and the Hope Breaker for the win.
Oh, just one thing. During the TNT Ignition, my missus didn't like the fact that Chase Alexander wrestled in his suit. She says that you should wear your wrestling trunks and wrestling gear. So
well, Chase Alexander did wrestle in his suit for us at PEW and received the chant of "Who's the waiter?"
Yeah, I'm sorry, but my missus did not like it. Sorry, Chase. It's just I'm reporting it. She was there. She said, "Why is he wrestling in a suit? I don't like it." I'm just delivering. Don't shoot the messenger. I personally think it works with his character, but you know.
We then had a Smith and Carter video package. We then had Noam Dar and Shah Samuel sitting down with the Coffey brothers and Skid Scala. Joe Coffey is going to be challenging for the Heritage Cup. Mark Coffey, it would appear after this, is going to be taking on Shah Samuels. So ICW all over again.
Yeah, matches should be good.
Yes. Mastiff and Stars were then interrupted in the backstage area by Pretty Deadly. And so Jack Stars, to prove that he is edgy, has cut holes out of Pretty Deadly's clothes, right over their moobs. Sorry, pecs. They're muscular pecs. Yes, this was worthwhile, but at least it means that we'll get to see Pretty Deadly back wrestling and they'll have a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, and they'll beat up Jack Stars.
Yeah. Danny Jones then took on Rohan Raja. This is probably Danny Jones's best showing on NXT UK. He looks strong, he moved fast, got to show his really good technique.
Very aggressive guy. I really like him. He would actually really suit being in thing. In fact, he would actually probably do a better job than what we're going to be talking about in just a minute.
Yes. In the end, Jones got slammed on the outside and got hit with a beautiful step up in Seguri. That was great. Raja hit Seeker Destroy for 1, 2, 3, and afterwards, De Familia beat down Danny Jones.
Well, one of them was reluctantly did it. He certainly didn't seem to want to do it. He felt it was disappointing and below them, but decided to still do it anyway to be part of the family.
He seemed to be enjoying it when he was doing it, and this is, of course, Charlie Dempsey.
Yes. So you're hopefully going to get your thing. Dempsey looks like he might be pulling away from De Familia already. And if they do, I think they should actually add Danny Jones to the stable, because I think Jones would actually suit the stable down pretty well. Aggressive, hard-hitting, technical.
Yeah, that could be good. We then had a video for Symbiosis saying they're going to come back better. I don't mind that. I think that they have potential. They work well as a team. I have no problems with them coming back better. Yeah,
they should. They're always someone who should be in the mix, but never on the pony.
What was the video that came after this, Andy?
I think it's for Wild Boar.
Right.
Mike Hitchman.
Cool. That would make a bit of sense. There was a lorry driver. There was weird, scary noises and music. It was horrific, a horror movie title.
It took me a second watch. I was like, what the hell was that? And I had to skip it back and watch it again. I was like, oh,
what the hell was that?
What the hell was that? And then I was like, oh, they're bringing back Mike Hitchman. No, do I care? No, sorry, Mike.
Maybe they'll tag him up with Mark Andrews.
No, he typically tracks.
No, sorry, not Mark
Flash
Andrews.
On it. It was
Flash Morgan Webster. Sorry,
but they're both out with injury right now, aren't they? Anyway,
I was confusing my subs.
Yes, don't confuse your subs.
No. Shah Samuels then bumped into Mark Coffey and said that Coffey can't fight on his own anymore and needs to be in a gang. A Kid then saw De Familia and told Charlie Dempsey off for the beatdown, said he was better than that. I said they hadn't got anything to do with A Kid at the moment, didn't I?
Yeah, well, I think it's a good Could be a good rivalry, A-Kid and Teo Man, with A-Kid trying to pull Dempsey out of that group, which will make you happy.
Yes, it will.
And there'll be some great matches in between, because A-Kid versus Dempsey will be excellent. A-Kid versus Raja will be excellent. And A-Kid versus Teo Man will be, well, guess
Absolutely
what?
excellent.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm all for it.
Mako Satomura celebration event. A short video and a bunch of petrol station flowers. It wasn't good, was it?
It was just a train wreck. It was.
I mean, those flowers were crap. They were literally petrol station flowers. The lights
what was
went
Isla
out.
Dawn wearing?
No, this I actually approve of. Okay, because we've been bitching and moaning about Isla Dawn and how much we haven't liked it. She's changing it up. Isla Dawn had a completely different look this time. She was wearing a tartan bikini style top with a pentagram in the center.
She looked like a Scottish dominatrix.
Which is kind of what her character has been. And I think that this is good because there is a change. She does a big super kick to Mako, and we're thinking, yes, this is really good. Finally, we're getting the change. And then she takes the bloody flowers instead of the belt, and it let the air out of the room for me. I think
they've just been building her just to have somebody for Mako to beat in between her and other matches, and it's a little disappointing.
I did like the fact that she had her own sort of 90s light industrial metal playing throughout the time that she was on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a la, here's a comparison that's never ever been made before. Isla Dawn, kind of like the gangsters in ECW, with having the music on the whole time while they were on.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. That was that. We then had Sam Gradwell. Baldy Sam Gradwell. Baldy man with no hair. Talking in the mirror about this and his anger at Kenny Williams.
Poor Sam.
Poor Sam. We then had a confrontational moment with Nathan Frazier. Is going to be taking on Ilya Dragunov. He accepts the challenge, but says that there is no way that Frazier is ready, but this would be the first step on his journey, which would tend to suggest there's going to be multiple matches, which I think will probably be a good thing because they are both excellent wrestlers. We then had Smith and Carter versus Mustache Mountain for the Tag Team Championships. Great match.
Great match.
Yeah, really great match.
I think I finally worked out what my problem has been with NXT UK lately.
Go on.
No fans again.
No fans, badly pumped in boos and yays.
Yeah, kind of just takes a bit of the wind out of it because they had the fans finally back and now they're gone again. And I think it has hurt the show this time, but this was a better show than the previous 2 to 3 shows that I've been on. So
yeah, it was really good. There was a moment of slight miscommunication with Smith and Carter, but nothing major. Tyler Bate is just excellent at everything that he does. Some brilliant false finishes. Excuse me.
And a little cheat to win from Trent Seven.
Yeah, this keeps that little bit going. Is Trent Seven going bad? Yes. Yes, he is.
It was a good match, and I think the lack of crowd did hurt it a little, but not as much as the previous matches that have been on. Overall, I would have given this show 3.5 sugars.
I would give it 3.
Shall
I do ICW next?
Yes, please do.
Right, ICW. We started off with Stevie James versus BT Gunn. I was really impressed with this. There was a lot of brawling, but there was a hell of a lot more wrestling than you think with these two. Really good wrestling match. I'm really surprised to see Stevie James kick out of the Technodrome, the corkscrew DDT finisher. And he managed to kick out of that, but in the end was caught with a roll-up from the ropes by BT Gunn, who got the win. The Greedy Souls then took on the 9-9. Danny Jones again. I do love the Greedy Souls. They are
a very good tag team.
Yeah, and they had a good match against the 9-9. And again, Danny just looked so smooth throughout. In the end, Morris lifted up the big Welsh bear for the Clyde Valley driver, and the 9-9 got the win. But it was a good match. Really was. Greedy Souls did get to look good again. We then had Leighton Buzzard versus Daz Black. This was, as you would imagine, a very exciting, very good match for about 5 minutes. And then out came the Manifesto and attacked them both. There was a very long beatdown on both. And then Dylan Thorne immediately called out Will Cruz for his match. Will Cruz, of course, being afraid of nothing because he's a big guy. He came out and he beat Dylan Thorne around for about 5 minutes. Then the Manifesto came out and beat him down.
I thought there were rules in place to stop this from happening.
There are. The match was thrown out.
Okay.
So, lucky Will Cruz won while being battered by 4 men with chains. I'm sure he was thrilled with this.
Yeah.
Basically,
the headline, Will
yes.
Cruz.
Yes. Will Cruz did look good, and he fits in with ICW really well, and I think he should continue with them and go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we then had our main event, and this is a match that if you haven't had a chance to watch yet, Andy, you should watch because you will really enjoy. Theodorus versus Mark Haskins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should be a good match.
It was a good match. Beautiful exchanges, great technical work from both. Theodorus, you love to hate him because he is so good at what he does. And Haskins, everybody absolutely loves. In the end, Doris tapped the figure 4, and then out came Kez, and he got the belt ready to flatten his opponent coming up, which is, of course, Mark Haskins. And he ran at him with the belt to hit him from behind, and Haskins did a beautiful spinning kick and knocked Kez out. And we went off the air with Kez down and Haskins holding the belt. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at Square Go.
Indeed. Sounds like a good show. How many sugars do you give it?
I will give that show 3.5 sugars. I would have given it more because the matches were good, but there was too much beating down from the Manifesto.
Yeah, I can understand that. Rev Pro UK is live in Southampton 16, available on RPW on demand. Alex Coughlin defeated Mark Davis of Aussie Open. I was surprised by this, but it was a fantastic match. 2 big guys just started off with some great technical wrestling. For guys those size, they don't have to wrestle like that, but they can. And then they started hitting and beat each other with big hard chops and slaps and forearms and it was a great match. Really was. Alex Coughlin has so much potential as a possible future star. Mark Davis is fantastic. Obviously, Open, one of the best tag teams in the world right now. Unsigned. Dan Maloney took on David Francesco in a match that Maloney never really even tried to get into second or third gear. Of course, this nearly gave David Francesco an opening for a little bit of offense, but pretty much just a basic squash match for Dan Maloney. It was then going to be Hyan versus Rhea O'Reilly, but Alex Windsor came out and said, no, I want to be in this match. Let's make it a 3-way, which the crowd really enjoyed, of course, because they're dirty pervs. And she put the title on the line and they had a triple threat match, which Alex Windsor won. Was good. Yeah, it was good. Will Ospreay then took on Lee Hunter in a very good match. I thought both of them probably could have stepped it up a little bit more, but still a very good match. Lycos Yen then defeated Shota and Yota, Shota Umino and Yota Tsuji. So Lycos Yen managing to overcome the 2 bigger guys, and this was again a case of Yota and Shota not really being on the same page, and it was it was a good match because Lycos Jim were just fantastic, and the way that they can negate their size in matches like this was really, really smart wrestling from Lycos Jim, who you can imagine are just so much smaller than, say, Yota and Shota. But brilliant the way they're able to do that. Gabriel Kidd and Carl Fletch then just beat 3 tons of crap out of each other. Literally some of the best chops and slaps and claps you'll ever see in a match. It was fantastic. He just really, really good. Afterwards is when he gave the very, very emotional promo in which he turned around to a fan and said, "Shut up, I'm talking right now."
Excellent.
Which I thought was absolutely fantastic, because you could see everyone was pretty much hushed, but you could see somebody was talking to their friend, and Gabriel Kidd was having none of it because he was literally pouring his heart out during that promo, and but yes, you can definitely see the flickers of why he needs to take a break at the moment. And then Michael Oku defeated Luke Jacobs in an excellent match, of course. I would say the only thing that I disliked about the match was Michael Oku winning too cleanly. I would have liked to, because he obviously took a lot of punishment as he normally does. I would have possibly liked to have seen Michael Oku maybe win with more of a roll up rather than hit into frog splashes for the win to beat him quite cleanly. But overall, it was just a really good match. And it's just because as I say right now, Luke Jacobs is in such a hot streak of great matches that it felt like it derailed him a little bit in Rev Pro UK. Overall, this was an absolutely fantastic show, and considering it was just one of more of their minor shows and not a big show, I'm going to give this show 4.5 sugars.
Nice.
Because there were so many good matches on not one of their big shows. WXW's Road to 16 Carat kicked off with the Group B match, Norman Harris versus Golden Boy Santos. Golden Boy Santos is a Portuguese wrestler, an absolute stud of a man. He looks fantastic. He gets better every time I see him in the ring. Norman Harris is a very big lad himself. Got all the potential to be an absolute top star. This is some guy's gonna, if he doesn't, he's gonna be an NXT UK superstar at some point. I'll put it that way. He is a phenomenal talent. This was a really good match. Peter Tihanyi then took on James Runyon, who is from Canada, who does a lot in the Smash Wrestling promotion. This match was more about Runyon than Tihanyi, despite the fact that Tihanyi won. So it was okay. Hector Invictus defeated Tim Steuben, whilst with a little help from Dennis Cash Doolin. This has been an ongoing thing. Dennis Cash Doolin wants to be Hector Invictus' best friend, but Hector Invictus wants nothing to do with Dennis Cash Doolin. So there's a lot of comedy, but there's also some seriousness to it. So Hector Invictus won. Then Dennis Cash Doolin defeated Anil Marek. And there was some really, really interesting little pieces that are feeding here for Anil Marek and about his confidence in his wrestling. Now, very early on, it looked like he tripped while going for a run at to do a splash in the corner, but it kind of worked for him because he just kind of fell into him with a nice forearm to the face. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, he just tripped. But no, that seeing what happened later at a couple of different points, it was 100% intentional. It was fantastically done. Felt full marks to Anil Marek in the way he is wrestled this match. Dennis Cash Doolin was able to win this match because of another mistake that Anil Marek made whilst trying to climb the ropes. Very, very interesting. Great interplay there. Rotten Flot defeated Oscar and Robert Dreisker. I don't know much about Rotten Flot. Oscar is the he's an Australian who trained in the New Zealand dojo and is absolutely phenomenally intense and big and strong. But he cost him and Robert Dreisker a match in this, and when he was shouting backstage, Robert Dreisker came and gave him a massive dressing down and said, you shouldn't be shouting and moaning because your performance was absolutely awful. This was really good. Again, great play. Ava Everett, this was my first time seeing Ava Everett, the American it girl, the Floridian, who reminded the Germans that Florida is where Walt Disney World is. I was actually more impressed by her opponent, is Israeli wrestler Gaia Glass, but still a decent match. Peter Tihanyi then defeated Norman Harris in the final of the Group B match. So Peter Tihanyi goes on. Excellent match. Peter Tihanyi hits one of the best tornado springboard tornado DDTs you'll ever see. The way he gets up on that leap and hits that top rope is phenomenal. Dennis Cash Doolin then defeated Hector Invictus after literally refusing to wrestle him for about 10 minutes, just constantly avoiding him and not doing anything. He eventually picked up the win. Comedy, but interesting. Fast Time Mudo and Stephanie Mays then picked up the win over Baby Allison and Maggot in a mixed gender tag team match. Very good. Overall, I would give this show 3.5 sugars. It's a good lead into WXW Germany 16 Carat, but I honestly thought this show might have been a little bit better. So I'm only going to give it 3.5 sugars. It was good, but it didn't quite get to that next level. So yeah, 3.5 sugars. Still, go check that out. That's on WXW now. And as I say, if you join up now, you can be able to see the 16 Carat tournament as well, which of course I will be following. Oof, that is yeah. Let's have a look at what are the amazing shows that people can go watch next week.
Let's start off with Tuesday, the 1st of March, with Modern Nomad Pro Wrestling's Tuesday Night Graps 3 at the Frog and Bucket in Manchester. We have a Pancake Day death match between TK Cooper and Kid Lycos. I am willing to bet lemon juice and fry pans will be involved.
Yes, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun as well.
The Lee Hunter Battle Royal Fatal 4-Way Combination Rules match is going to feature Lee Hunter versus Everett Connors versus Keenan Krishnan versus Martin Kirby. That's going to be interesting to see the combination of rules that are put in place for that one.
Yes.
Lycos Jim, Kid Lycos 2 and Nico Angelo versus Northwest Strong, which is going to be represented by Chris Ridgway and Scott Oberman. The Super Chapman brothers, Mad Kurt and his younger brother Harry, versus Northwest Strong, Rio and Luke Jacobs. As you can imagine with Mad Kurt, he has had some brilliant Twitter conversations with his mother about younger brother Harry wrestling.
Yes, this should be a very interesting match once again.
Also in attendance will be Vaughn Vertigo, Detective Money and Elijah, and many, many others.
Indeed. Moving on to Friday, the 5th of March. Top pick is Pro Wrestling Eve. The women behaving badly. That is at the 229, the venue in London. You got the Pro Wrestling Eve World Championship, which is an Iron Women's match. Emerson Jane versus Jetta. An NWA versus Pro Wrestling Eve Tag Team Championship match. Title versus title. The Uprising. Rhea O'Reilly and versus Sky Smithson, and the Hex, Marty Bell, versus the Hex, Marty Bell and Sienna, the current NWA Tag Team Champions. Laura Di Matteo versus the Ava. That's Ava White. Yes, the English Ava. Charlie Morgan versus Hyann. Charlie Evans versus Riho. Maxie Impaler versus Clementine. Alex Windsor versus Lizzie Evo, an exclusive live audience match between Nina Samuels and Amelia McKenzie.
On Saturday, the 5th of March, you have Pro Wrestling Eve's Brawl at the Brewery, at Signature Brewery in London. That is going to feature The Ava versus Emerson Jane, Alex Windsor versus Max the Impaler, Charlie Morgan versus Lizzie Evo, an exclusive live audience match, The Medusa Complex versus the Wrestle Friends, Jetta and Erin Angel, and many more matches.
Indeed. UBW in Stockfold, are you going to be there?
I am not going to be there this time, but I believe that Stephen is going to be there. The issue that I am facing at the moment, I am not going to be going to as many matches in the run-up to May because I am up for election this year. I am a local councillor, and I have got an election coming up, which means that I have to spend my weekends knocking on people's doors saying, please vote for me. But I do want to see this because I'm really interested in the main event, which is Paul Hubris, who is coming out of the Rhodes Academy in America, who is going to be challenging Truman Roswell. So yeah, I would like to be there. Sunset Skip is taking on Ricky Calvert. The Young Lions Championship match. Smashing Mike is hoping to get it back from the evil Hustle Malone. And the Square One Championship match. Friend of the show, Adonis Payne, is taking on Vinnie Cray. You also have the Thunder Express versus the Lads and Frankie Vegas versus Percy Traynor.
Indeed. I think the big tribal chief of the Big Fat Geeks, Mr. Steve Southern, big fan of the Thunder Express, and so I'm assuming I might get another big win over one of the best tag teams in the South right now, the Lads. Yeah. Art of Combat are also going to be in action on that Saturday. They are we're going to run this town tonight in Stafford. Warren Banks versus Kanji should be an excellent match. Man Like Doris versus Visage versus Tommy Kyle. Very interesting matchup. Act 2, which is Benjamin Harland and Jack Knudsen versus Guerrilla Warfare, which is Truman Roswell. I'm sorry, I can't remember his tag team partner. Do you? No, sorry, Guerrilla Warfare. Tom Farewell versus CJ Carr. That should be an excellent match. And Dan Maloney versus Chris Ridgway should be absolute carnage.
Prime Wrestling Entertainment Season 2 Episode 1 at the Jubilee Club in Newcastle. There is a Prime Wrestling Championship match. Tommy Zane versus Martin Kirby. You have Simon Miller versus Shreddy. That's So Raven versus Next Generation. Leon Slater and Nathan Black versus Crash Boat. And Nikki Starr debuts and David Lynn has an open challenge and Ace Corp will be in action.
Yeah, I was actually at Prime Wrestling Entertainment's last show of season 1, where they crowned Tommy Zane as the champion. Very, very talented young man. Should be a great match against Mark Kirby. Big heavyweight Simon Miller and Shreddy. Slappy match. Big men slapping me. And always good to see Crash Boat in action. They are just so much fun. Also on Saturday is Rev Pro UK Raw Deal 2022, which is at the Gordon Craig Theatre in Stevenage. No matches have been announced as yet. And then on Sunday, the 6th of March, Rev Pro UK are live in London 59 at the 229, the venue in London. But, you know, Rev Pro UK, I think they brought enough thing to say they're probably going to be great shows.
Yeah. Ignite Pro Wrestling. Encore in Boreham Wood. This is going to feature the Ignite Championship qualifier match. Corey Mcrae versus Warren Banks. Dexter versus Just Joe Lando. And Nino Bryant and CJ Carter working together against the Rebellion. The Ignite Championship qualifier match with Danny Black versus Forrest Hayes. And we have Laura Di Matteo versus Tommy Kyle. And a breakout division match, Smashing Mike versus Mark True.
Yeah, that sounds a great card. Bournemouth, not too far from you. Corey Mcrae, I think Sound against Mike City. Corey Mcrae versus Warren Banks should be absolutely excellent. Danny Black versus Forrest Hayes again. And of course, we spoke to CJ Carter a few weeks ago. He gave us all the details about this upcoming show, and you should definitely 100% go check that out. It is available on our Powerful TV, YouTube channels, Spotify, and all the rest. Then on Monday, the 7th of March, is Catch Pro Wrestling's Monday Night Catch, the Bread Shed in Manchester. The Catch Pro Women's Championship will be on the line as Lizzie Evo defends against Kanji. Wow, that's going to be a great match. Brady Phillips versus Kev Lloyd. Two guys very impressed with. I think that's going to be a brilliant match. Pure Beef, Powerhouse Blake versus Will Cruz versus Synergy, Troy Ryan and Anderson Daniels. I hope they reinforce the ring. Chris Ridgway versus Dean Allmark. Technical Classic. Big T has an open challenge. And then it's a fatal four match. 2-bit Rio Eitenstein and Dynamite Lee. Should be some great matches. So get yourself down to those shows because they look set to be excellent.
There is some good wrestling around in the UK this week. And a little bit further news roundup for you. TNT Ignition have announced the full lineup for their upcoming Ignite the Fire show on the 13th of March in Liverpool, including Gia Adams versus Ivy in a number one contenders match. Cam Solis and Roughneck versus the Mancunians, Sam Bailey and JJ Webb. Sonna Durson versus RPD in a street fight. MVK versus Isaac North. Shreddy versus HT Drake. Tom Felwell versus Chase Alexander. Tate Mayfairs versus Big Guns Joe. And Wrestle Island are going to be hosting a special VIP dark match, which will feature Lucy Sky versus Lance Rivera. And I'm going to put up a little chat I had with Lance Rivera on our Twitter feed tomorrow. Now, if you want to know more about this show, how can they find out more, Andy?
Well, they can check out our last interview, a preview of this show with RPD. As I say, he gave us his thoughts on Sonna Durson as well as all the details on all of these matches. This looks set to be absolutely excellent. TNT Ignition is not just the second brand to TNT Extreme. It is its own thing, full of amazing young talent, offers a much more family-friendly show. If you're not checking out TNT Ignition right now, you should be. And if you want to catch up for obviously past episodes, go check them out on Power 4 TV.
And if you're in Liverpool, get yourself a ticket because there are very few left.
Indeed. Purpose Wrestling have announced their next show is going to be Into the Light. This is on the 8th of April. Tickets should be on sale now. Their last show, Fix Up, Look Sharp, is now available to stream via Patreon. A little bit disappointed on that one because I really enjoyed a lot of Purpose Wrestling's shows and I just honestly can't afford to pick up any new subscriptions at the moment unless you guys sign up to Power 4 TV using the promotional code TPOD.
Wrestle Carnival. Ava Everett will face Clementine when she makes her Wrestle Carnival debut at Mardi Gras on March the 26th at the Portland Centre in Nottingham. The competitors for the number one contenders tournament for both the Carnival Champion and the Queen of the Carnival Championships. Block A, the Queen of the Carnival number one contender entrants are Rio, Charlie Morgan, and Sky Smithson. That's three very, very worthy contenders. And Block B for the Carnival Champions men's tournament will be Man Like Reese, Luke Jacobs, and Charlie Sterling. Again, three excellent competitors.
Yeah, be interesting to see how this tournament is going to work. But knowing it's going to be interesting. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic as well. DNA Pro Wrestling, DNA. Everybody get up! It's time to Space Jam. It's set for 16th of April in Ipswich. The main event will be Corey Mcrae against Paul Robinson, who recently made his DNA return at their last show. It's in Our Blood 3, which will be available on Power 4 TV shortly.
You can tell the age of a lot of the promoters by the music choices that are being used for the names. Fix Up, Look Sharp, Everybody Get Up, and we're going deeper underground. Because Good Wrestling have announced a huge intergender tag team match for their next show, Going Deeper Underground, on the 26th of March at Unit 9 in Milton Keynes, as Chantel Jordan teams up with Hustle Malone to face some big, dangerous, scary mammals, BDSM, Charles Crowley, and Clementine.
And it should be good fun. UKPW, friends of the show, UKPW have announced that their next show will be in Canterbury on the 9th of April with You Don't Win Friends with Grappling. Simon Miller, Evie Madden, and Vaughan Vertigo will all be in action. Plus, the Wolf of Broad Street, Alexander Roth, will be defending his UKP Heavyweight Championship against British legend James Mason, who is a former UKPW Heavyweight Champion.
Pinfall Wrestling. Martin Kirby and Charles Crowley have entered the Gauntlet Games on the 27th of March in Salford, joining Cam Solis and CJ Carter as previously announced. Nice chance for some of our northern friends to see CJ Carter and Charles Crowley, who normally wrestle mainly southern shows, in person.
Yeah, full, very strong entrance for this Gauntlet Games. Look, be interesting to see where this goes. Creation Pro Wrestling are back on the 24th of April in Cardiff with insert Marvel quote here. One match has been announced, Sid Oakley versus Charlie Sterling.
Well, Lancashire Wrestling Federation's #1 contender, Sonny Durson, must team with the current champion, Ronaldo, to face the Merseyside Mercenary squad of Dan Evans and Scott Oberman at Marching on the 12th of March in Chorley. Plus, the inaugural women's champion, GNEB, will team with Aurora Tevez to face a team of Lana Austin and Helena Razor.
Good couple of matches there. Rise Wrestling. GCW's ultra-violent champion, Alex Colon, will be making his Rise debut as part of their Outlaw Deathmatch tournament for the European Deathmatch Championship, which is on the 30th of April in Hull, if you're wanting to make your way north down for that one.
I am sorely tempted, actually, because I really like Hull. I've worked in Hull before. I like the place a lot. It is quite tempting. But I am on hiatus from shows while I go and knock on doors and say, vote for me. DOA! CJ Carter is set to defend his Adrenaline Championship against Just Joe Lando at DOA's Danger Zone on the 26th of March in Yaxley. Plus, young Canadian Junior Bento is making his first UK tour and is going to face Damien. DOA are then on in Manchester on the 3rd of April.
Wait, with Norwich?
Why did I say Manchester when I'm actually
no
reading
idea.
Norwich? DOA are then in Norwich on the 1st of April with In Their House with Madison Miles facing Vanessa as Jodie Fleisch clashes with Brad Slayer. And then on the 9th of April in Great Yarmouth, you see, I got that one right. I could have said something random there as well. In Great Yarmouth, the heavyweights collide as former MMA star Brad Semtex meets Sullivan King in competition as both men make their debuts for DOA at Let the Games Begin.
Interesting shows there coming up for DOA, which I think are available on Fight TV. Triumph Pro Wrestling, the next match, the next show. Oh, no, next match for Triumph Tag Team Tournament. That continues at Third Time Lucky on the 12th of March at Chafford Hundreds, as Both Barrels, which is the team of Callum Newman and Maverick Mayhew. They go, yes, Mayhew and Newman, both Barrels. I thought they were the Mavericks of Pace. It must have been a different one. Anyway, against one of the best teams in the Southeast right now, the Rebellion, Jack Toreno and Taylor Essex. Plus, the bad times are coming for Just Joe Lando as he is set to face Paul Robinson.
Superstar Pro Wrestling. Isaac North will defend his newly won Superstar Championship on the 19th of March at Slam Jam in Liverpool against the only man who could possibly match the Goth Giant, Viking in size. And that's Big T. And the last time these two clashed, it ended in a double countout. Jimmy Jackson has also been announced to appear. You may be able to tell, ladies and gentlemen, that it is getting very late on a Sunday night because I am ballsing things up left, right, and centre.
Yes, the Goth Giant Viking. It's not easy to say, but yes, he is a Gothic Giant Viking. Is old Isaac North. Great character. Big T, big man too. Wrestling Resurgence. Charlie Evans will be defending her championship that she defeated Cara Noir for against the returning Kanji at Resurgence's Iron Women of Resurgence, which is on the 12th of March.
North Wrestling's NCL, the next show, Let the Cannons Fly 3. I've never seen a flying cannon. Will be on the 26th of March at the Anarchy Brewery in Newcastle. Set to appear the amazing, fantastic and wonderful Commander Sterling, Session Moth Martina, Rory Coyle, Lizzie Evo, Joe Hendry and Gia Adams.
I've actually just seen Sugar is going to be there as well.
Sugar Dunkerton.
Yeah, Sugar Dunkerton is going to be there, as is Adam Maxted.
Woo, that is a big lineup.
Indeed. Doing great stuff, North Wrestling. Did a review from their last show on our last show, so go check that out. Kamikaze Pro Wrestling War Horses coming to Kamikaze Pro on the 22nd of April at the Mill in Digbeth. That is for Skies, The Limit 8. Also in action are Sean Custom, Mariah May, Charles Crowley, Sunshine Machine, Charlie Morgan, and a man like the Reese.
The Future Shock Academy will be welcoming former WWE European Champion D'Lo Brown. He will be appearing at Future Shock on their 10th of April show in Stockport.
Interesting. I think he's also doing some training at the British Wrestling Revolution Evo Academy as well. So go check out.
Definitely one to go along to if you're training. D'Lo Brown is known as one of the best brains in wrestling. He did a lot with TNA as well back in the day.
Really, really did. I was always a big fan of that head shake. Yeah, still love the way he did that head shake down coming down to the ring.
I love the way he wore the chest protector for so long. I thought it was great.
Yeah. He made the chest protector famous. That's why everybody wears them nowadays. School of Slam. School of Slam, a huge show up next to the SOS in Harwich. Tag team tournament, which is on the 25th of March. RKJ will be taking on Blanco Loco, plus Dream Girl Ellie, Axton Ray, Vanessa Grant, PJ Knight, and Ava White will all be in action.
Right, here we go. Let's see how Dozy Daniel copes with some of this. Quick Euro wrestling news. The Italian Wrestling Association. I'm going to cheat here. Jordan Said returns to the IWA on the 26th of March, where he'll be challenging Flavio Geggi for the IWA Heavyweight Championship at the IWA's Roma Divide et Imperia show. Jordan Said is the former IWA Heavyweight Champion, actually defeated Flavio for the title before losing back to the current champion. Michael Oku will also be part of that show, as will Lou King Sharp.
Yeah, a lot of English representation over there for that show.
I was thankful.
Yes, the Roma Divide et Imperia. New European Wrestling, as in new, out of Madrid in Spain, have announced Team White Wolf. Yes, you heard that right. Team White Wolf. NXT UK superstar A-Kid reunites with his independent tag team partner Carlos Roma as they face the team of Next Level at Desafío, which is Challenge, and that is on the 12th of March in Madrid, Spain.
Nice. Good to see that tag team back together. Bodyslam Pro Wrestling. At Bodyslam's all-women's show on April the 2nd, Bodyslam will be crowning their first ever women's champion.
Good on Bodyslam. Passion Pro, which is in Hungary, they have announced that British superstar Corey Mcrae will be making his return to Passion 4 for Passion 4 in Hungary, and that is going to be on the 10th of April, and I'm sure he's going to pick up the big W this time. Go on, Corey.
APC Catch are going to be in action on the 13th of March. Former Ring of Honor World Champion Bandido will be in action along with Tristan Archer, Agil Blanc, Ricky Salem, Ultima Sombra, and MBM.
I used to be such a big fan of Bandito, but unfortunately he's gone down in my books for
many things.
Yes. Anyway, finally, the final bit, a bit more WXW Germany. The final show prior to the 16 carat show is WXW Inner Circle, and that is on the 3rd of March. It's the most exclusive event of the year. Dennis Cash Doolin will be facing Ac Romero. There will be an elimination match featuring the WXW Academy against the Hungarian Championship Wrestling Academy. Gullius Jr. will be facing Shigehiro Irie. Odyssey will be facing Ava Everett. Norman Harras and Sebastian Suave will be taking on the team of Golden Boy Santos and Vaughn Vertigo. And then Swedish superstar Enda Kara will be facing Fuminori Abe. Sounds excellent. Hopefully it'll be on the WXW now before the 16 carat tournament. Anything else, young man?
I just want to say, do have a look on our Twitter feed at the video of H Hood letting me know his name.
He gave you a dressing down.
He did give me a dressing down.
You upset a lot of people at PW. You know that, didn't you?
I did upset, and I didn't get a chance to speak to afterwards because unfortunately he had to shoot off very quickly. But I did speak to fleetingly beforehand, Big Daddy Unicorn, Mr. Jason Joshua.
So when are we having the Big Daddy off?
We will end up having a Big Daddy off at some point. However, bearing in mind his signature move is to use his horn, and that is said in the most biblical of ways, to smack his opponent in the head. I'm hoping that I don't upset him.
No, well,
any further.
I think what we need at PW, because I know you can't attend their second show, but at their third show, we need Big Daddy Unicorn versus Big Daddy Allen in the middle of the ring.
I really don't.
For a Big Daddy off. Yes, book it, Lawrence.
Well,
you heard it here.
Maybe with my Big Daddy belly, I'll be able to do a Big Daddy belly bump before being absolutely murdered by a professional wrestler.
You know you want to book it, PW. You do. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, just remember one thing: don't feed the trolls.